Module 2, let's get started. Welcome to Module 2, the science of play. In this section, we will explore the neuroscience that supports play as an essential part of childhood development. Play is much more than a break from learning. It is how children learn, grow, and build the foundations for attention, behavior, and self-regulation. As occupational therapists, educators, or advocates, understanding the science behind play helps us see its role, not as optional, but as necessary for healthy development and participation. Let's begin by looking at what makes play so powerful from a sensory and neurological perspective. In this module, we will unpack the concept of play through the lens of sensory integration, brain development, and occupational participation. You will learn how movement and sensory experiences create lasting changes in the brain that support learning and emotional regulation. We will also look at the evidence connecting play and recess to improve attention, social emotional growth, and school performance. By the end of this session, you will have a deeper appreciation of play, both as a scientific process and a human right that supports every child's ability to participate, belong, and thrive. Play activates the sensory systems that build and organize the brain. Through movement, touch, and exploration, children learn to interpret and respond to the sensory information in ways that support learning and behavior. These everyday experiences strengthen neural pathways, allowing the brain to process information more efficiently. When children climb, spin, swing, or run, they're not just playing, they're wiring their brains for focus, problem solving, and self-control. This foundation for adaptive responses enables them to meet challenges at home, school, and in the community. We can't possibly cover the neuroscience of sensory integration in just one slide, but here's a brief look at why it matters. Ayres sensory integration, or ASI, is a theory and evidence-based practice developed by Dr. Jean Ayres, an occupational therapist and neuroscientist. ASI explains how the brain organizes sensory information from movement, touch, and body awareness to support learning, attention, and behavior. When children engage in sensory-rich play, like swinging, spinning, or climbing, their brains are actively forming and refining neural connections that help them interpret and respond to the world. This process builds the foundation for adaptive responses, or the ability to plan, focus, and adjust behavior based on what's happening around them. In simple terms, ASI helps us understand how the brain turns play into progress, how everyday movement experiences strengthen the systems that make learning and participation possible. Most people think of the five senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. But as occupational therapists, we recognize additional systems that are just as vital: the vestibular and proprioceptive systems. These hidden senses help the brain understand where the body is in space, how it moves, and how much force to use. The playground is one of the most natural environments for sensory integration to occur. Every swing, slide, and jump provides vestibular and proprioceptive input that strengthens the body's awareness for balance and attention. The tactile experiences of feeling playground surfaces, grass, sand, or a friend's hand during play support sensory regulation and social connection. Recess gives children unstructured opportunities to explore movement, take risks, and build confidence. When schools reduce or remove recess, they unintentionally remove this essential form of sensory nourishment. Protecting recess ensures every child has access to the movement and sensory experience their body and brain need to stay organized, focused, and ready for learning. Research consistently shows that recess and unstructured play have measurable impacts on learning and behavior. Studies have found that children who have at least 20 minutes of daily recess demonstrate up to a 30% improvement in classroom attention and a 25% reduction in off-task behavior once they return to class. Other research links daily movement opportunities to higher academic performance and stronger emotional regulation, especially for children who struggle with focus or sensory processing. Beyond academics, children who engage in active play are more likely to demonstrate positive peer interactions and empathy, contributing to a healthier classroom climate. When we look at the numbers, the impact of recess becomes even clearer. Studies have shown that after consistent daily recess, attention and classroom behavior improve by roughly 15%, meaning students are more focused and less disruptive. Academic performance and self-regulation rise about 10%, reflecting how sensory movement supports readiness for learning. Perhaps the most striking, social and emotional skills increase by up to 40% when children have regular opportunities for play. They show greater empathy, better conflict resolution, and stronger peer relationships. And importantly, equity and participation improve by 20%, as inclusive recess environments allow all children, regardless of ability or background, to engage and belong. These data points remind us that recess is not just enjoyable, it's measurable evidence of healthy development and learning in action. Recess is often where the most authentic learning happens. It's where children practice cooperation, empathy, and problem solving without adult direction. For many students, it's the only time of day they can fully be themselves, choosing how to play, who to interact with, and how to take healthy risk. These experiences build confidence, self-identity in ways that structured classroom tasks cannot. In short, recess is one of the most inclusive classrooms a school can offer. No lesson plan needed. It's where children learn to collaborate, include others, and experience joy through shared play. When schools protect and value recess, they create a space for belonging that extends far beyond the playground. It's an investment in mental health, inclusion, and occupational justice. As therapists, educators, and advocates, we can help ensure that recess remains a protected part of every child's school experience. The science is clear. Play is how the brain builds the foundation for learning and behavior. Neuroscience shows that recess activates the vestibular, proprioceptive, and tactile systems, strengthening the neural connections that support attention, self-regulation, and memory. Evidence from decades of research confirms that when children move, explore, and engage in unstructured play, they demonstrate measurable gains in focus, emotional control, and academic success. Protecting recess isn't just supported by science, it's driven by occupational justice. Every child deserves access to the sensory and social experiences that nurture development and belonging. When we advocate for recess, we are applying both neuroscience and evidence-based practice to ensure that children have the time, space, and opportunity to play where they can learn and thrive. These references highlight the research and evidence that inform this module and support the neuroscience of play. As we move into the next module, the third and final, we will explore how this science translates into advocacy and what we can each do to protect every child's right to play.